one of the best opportunities that you can ever take for this week, which you can actually hold for a very long time. I'll open a new chat so that you see why I'm anticipating this movement that I am just waiting for. Right, so I think I once did another video. If you go to the YouTube channel, you discover that we once did another video where we explained I think it was last week, which actually gave us some profits here because we took some sales. I think around here we took some sales as well. This was last week. So, but this zone, we're still eyeing it as our major buying zone. So I'll just start afresh on a new. Let me open a new fresh chart. Right, GBPUSD. Right, let me go to on the right. So let me delete this. So I'm just going to start from the monthly so that you see how we look at the market and some of the opportunities that you're actually supposed to take advantage of even this entire year since January. There are so many opportunities that were presented on GBPUSD that if ever you had access to such knowledge or such understanding of the market, you would have actually harnessed all of those opportunities. Right. So on the monthly time frame, you can see that we are in a bearish order flow market. Because we have that swing high there. They took out this low, which was the major change of character here. The major change of character that facilitated that entire bearish movement. It started there at the top there. Right. So that major change of character, it has been ongoing. It has just been a bearish flow ever since. Like this. So after they changed character like that, we now have our swing lower low, which is this one, lower high. Broke structure here. Major break of structure like this. Like this. So after they establish that major break of structure, you realize that they came here, didn't break internal, came again, didn't break internal. So meaning our next major level, according to the monthly, our next major level, or this is a zone that we are targeting the institutions to come and take out this level. Right. If ever they're going to facilitate any buys to the upside, they have to first break that level. Because when you go to the weekly, you realize that you actually see some of those things. So here, that's major supply there. We also have this minor supply along the way. So those are major zones that price can actually pull back onto before they decide to continue selling like this. So this is just a longer term perspective or longer term break, longer term lookout, so that even if or even when it's happening, it's not new to you. It's not something that is. So on the weekly, you can actually now see that on the weekly we have clean structures. Right. So on the weekly, there's this major opportunity that happened around here. Around here, like this. So on the weekly, if you follow structure like on the weekly like this, just this simple structure here, you discover that was a lower low. This was the lower high. Right. So you discover that the market came all the way to the lower high, which was here. That was a sniper entry zone there. That was a sniper entry. You could have entered it. The way you could have labeled this block, you could have labeled it as a supply like this, because that's actually a supply, major supply zone. That such opportunities like this, whereby whereby if you're in a bearish order flow, because remember what made this a lower low is the shift of internal order flow here, which is here, right? This is what made this a lower low like this. Same thing, something here. So even here, this shift of internal order flow is what makes this current leg a lower low like this. So what this means now is that opportunity from this was actually 2021, May 2021, it has been dropping. So once you enter an opportunity like this, remember, when you're in a bearish order flow, we are always taking out the lows, maintaining the highs, taking out the lows, maintaining the highs. So everything that I'm even showing you on the weekly time frame like this, it's something that you can even implement on a 1 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame, even the lower time frames you can even apply. The principles are the same. The principles are the same. There's nothing there's nothing that will ever change. The principles are the same. So yeah, it came back to the previous high. And if ever they are going to maintain bearish order flow, they were not supposed to take out the swing high like what they did here. So that was actually a sniper zone. And remember what I've taught you about liquidity. This is all liquidity here. This is actually a resistance according to a retail understanding, right? That's actually a resistance. And most retail traders now, because of lack of understanding of these other deeper concepts whereby you talk of liquidity, they might, if you tell them that this resistance is going to be broken, they might actually argue with you, telling you that it's strong resistance. But they don't know that the stronger or the many times a retail zone is tested, the many times a retail zone is tested. A retail zone, I'm talking about your support and the resistance. Those are retail zones. The many times a retail zone is tested, the weaker it becomes. The weaker and weaker it becomes. So once they do like this, even the institutions themselves, they are trapping people. They are gathering a lot of sellers here, a lot of retail sellers. Guys, can you hear me? This one is saying they can't hear me. What is this now? Can you guys hear me? What is this one saying now? Right. So that was liquidity there. Liquidity there. Liquidity. So this was all liquidity. Above this one, it's an institutional zone now. Retail zone, institutional zone. Retail zone, institutional zone. Once you have this understanding of these two zones, once you have an understanding of a retail zone and an institutional zone, you will be able to identify zones where the market will utilize as liquidity. For example, this is a retail zone. Retail zones are used as liquidity by the institutions. Remember what I shared with you in the afternoon concerning the retail zones and institutional zones, whereby I said the retail traders, they don't move price. The institutions are the ones that move price. So if the institutions are the ones who move price, it means you have to align your analysis and align your trades alongside with them, because if you align your analysis and your trades alongside with the majority of the retail traders, it means all the manipulation that the retail traders are going to encounter, you're also going to encounter that one. You're also going to encounter it. So right here, liquidity came and touched the supply now. Supply there, that's where you were supposed to enter all your sales. This was a imagine from May 2021, just taking one direction, because according to this weekly analysis, you're actually anticipating them to come and take out this low. So imagine having one bias for an entire year, maintaining one bias. That's how powerful currencies are. Currencies, they can maintain one direction for a very long time. That's why even if you trade indices or commodities like gold, I always encourage you to also have at least one currency pair that you trade. At least one. At least one. At least to have one currency pair that you trade, because currency pairs, they can go following one direction for a very long time. The way they respect order flow is crazy. So this was a huge sell all the way up until they took all this, right? So now, after they took all that, remember, after every institutional move, after every full institutional move, I'm referring to from the swing high up until they take out the swing low. That's an institutional move. Same thing here, from this swing high up until they took out this low. That was a full. After every institutional move, there's always a pullback that will follow that. So the pullback in this particular case, this is now our swing lower low. So remember what I've told you, that once you now have a lower low, once you now have a swing lower low like that, market must go up to create a lower high. Simple, simple, simple. So here, this is all liquidity. This is actually equal highs. Equal highs here, this is liquidity. Same thing here, there's a lot of liquidity as well. So just by having that understanding, you can actually see that there's this demand that they left out. They'll come and take it. After they take it, they'll tap that this one, because they would have collected this liquidity. That one, they can give a small pullback before they come to this one. Then if they want to continue selling, they can continue selling as well from there. So even if they don't come there, but just this one they'll come because there's liquidity here, equal highs, as well as inducement and equal highs. They'll take out that because retail traders now, they have this as a resistance like this. Once the market comes there, they will be busy selling. As they sell and sell and sell, their stop losses will be above. Once their stop losses are above, they are going to be used as liquidity. So once you have an understanding of liquidity, you actually realize that most of the traps that are trapping, most of the things that are trapping retail traders, right? Liquidity is the only trap that institutions are using against retail traders. So let me refine this. Did they touch this one? Yeah, they did touch this one. Yeah, so no need to come down there. So there's also this other technique that we use. Those in the class, they understand this, whereby you have a demand like this, whereby once you break out of a demand, this candle failed to break out of the demand, this one failed to break, then this one broke out. After they break out of a demand, they came back to retest the demand. There you could have actually bought. Buying there, the next demand is this one, this other demand. After they break out of that demand, your next entries, you enter on that demand, stop loss below. Same thing, they came back again, they kept on going. So now the demand that this one, same thing with this other demand, this one. This one, what they did, they broke out, then they came back inside as well, you can see. So now the only demand that was not retested is this one. Meaning, according to the daily, we have already refined our demand where we are targeting GU to drop all the way to, right? But remember, as they will be coming down, so this change of character is, it qualified this as our swing low, right? This leg is our swing low. That's now our swing lower low. So once you now follow internal structure now, once you now follow this daily structure, you realize that it's something like this, whereby you have this previous high, you have this low, right? This is, you're looking at the swing levels. So after they took out that, if you follow structure, you realize that where else did they break? Where else did they take out? Did they shift order flow? So if you follow order flow, this was a high, like this. They came down, went up, came down. So here you can see. Let me go to the weekly so that I show you properly. Right. So you notice on the weekly what happened. They came, they failed to take out this leg. They came, failed to take out this leg. Came, didn't take out. Came, took it out. So where was this? Is the change of character now. This change of character now is what makes that high our internal high. Because remember, according to the weekly, that is all internal structure. According to the weekly and the monthly. So you would discover that the internal structure of the weekly is actually the external structure of the daily. Like this. Internal structure of the weekly is actually the external structure of the daily. That's just a confluence of time frames. So that's where our major change of character happened. Right. So why am I putting it there? I want you to follow me on this one. So you will realize that external structure, what makes an external leg okay, let me do this. Do this, 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 do this. So this is internal structure, the one that I've just drawn, internal structure. So if you follow this internal structure here, they seem like they've broken, but once you go to the weekly, you realize that they didn't break. Same thing. So this was one leg, push, pull back, push, pull back, up until they took out this leg. This is actually the previous level, because it's the one that actually has, because once you follow this internal structure now, if you're following internal structure, let's label internal structure. We want to see where internal structure shifted from bullish to bearish. That's our swing high. So let's start here. They shifted here internally. So we can say this. Then here they came, they didn't break. Okay. Then this leg is the one that went on to break there, which is our higher low like that. So this is internal structure now, like this. Internal structure, like this. Right. So after they did that break, what else did they do? They kept on going up, 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 up. Then here they shifted internally, meaning that was now your high. This was now your low, because it's the one that broke that high, like this. So here they didn't do anything here. Then this one, that's why I say this is my major change of character, not this one. This one is a minor one. This one is the major one. So this major change of character now, it means we now have a swing higher high according to external structure. That's a swing higher high. So once you now have a swing higher high like that, the next thing that the market has to do is to remember, as they were coming down to change this character, they left a lot of liquidity up here. So before they go where they want to go, this is where they want to go, right? There's a lot of liquidity here to the left. There's liquidity here. So that zone on its own, you don't buy on a liquidity zone like that. What you do, you wait for them to take out the liquidity zone. Once they've taken out the liquidity zone, you identify a demand zone or an order block that would be below the liquidity zone. So you'll be buying somewhere here. This will be a major buy on that zone that you can actually take here, right here on this zone. Right. So now this change of character, that change of character, it's going to be facilitated, it's going to be followed by a pullback. So let me just show you what I'm referring to by that. So it's something like where is it? Okay. So it's something similar to right here. This was the major change of character here. Then there were actually minor change of characters inside here according to the lower time frames. So those minor ones are the ones that will give you the entry opportunities to enter earlier or down here. So even now, what the market just did, this was the change of character there. So meaning, let's see if ever we have any untapped demand up there. With this demand, they tapped it. You would have actually sold after they broke out and retested the demand. You would have actually sold there. They retested this demand. You would have sold there. They retested this demand. You would have sold there. They retested this demand. You would have sold. You see how many selling opportunities the market was as it was going. It's actually moving in form of a barcode. The only left demand that I see is this one. Right, this one. The one that I can say they didn't mitigate is this one. All these other ones, you see, they broke, they retested, broke. All of these up there, they tested them. So this is a demand as well that we can currently use as a short-term target for any buys that we might take. Because after this change of character, they can give you something like this. If they manage to actually go higher, they can go higher. before the continuation like this. So on the daily, that's what's going on the daily, right? So once we are done on the daily 4 hour, we're just going to refine our zones and also refine our setups, looking at the current opportunities that we can take right now. So this is a major change of character like that. So if you now follow the structure now, this was a low. What is this now? This is now a lower low. This one. Because it's lower than this. This was a high, right? This low is lower than this. So once you now have a lower low, which is a principle now. Once you now have a lower low, the market must push back up and give us a lower high before we continue down. Those are principles and laws now. So how do you know that they've actually, what qualifies this as a lower low is the shift of internal order flow. If you follow order flow, if you follow internal structure or this sub-internal structure, right? Whichever way you want to call it, this was a push, pull back, push, push, pull back, push. If you follow it nicely, you realize that they didn't break this internal this structure. It kept on being bearish, 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 push, push. Something happened here, which was never happening all the way there as they were coming down. This never happened, which is this change of character here. It never happened, which is the first sign now. First sign that we're about to go up is that one. So that's our first sign. So what else now do we now need to see? Change of character. So this is your current focus now. This is where your major analysis now is currently here. All that analysis that I did, it's essential, yes. But for this particular period, this is our current setup. You can see this demand. Above this demand, you can see that there's this demand, right? On the 4 hour. There was liquidity they touched, right? But on the 1 hour, you realize that there's a zone that they didn't touch, which is where we are currently going. It's around this level. It's around here. That's a supply zone. So this is actually a supply zone. You actually see it on the daily. So this change of character is something that has never happened according to the history there. So change of character like that, they are now going up to create a major lower high. And that lower high, we have zones where we are targeting them to push. First major zone, if you notice this 4 hour, if we put it nicely, it will be this zone, right? So for right now, it means we can even hold this trade as far as this zone, because that zone you can see below it, there's inducement, there's liquidity there. So right now we are expecting the market to come and break up there, right? So even if you put your Fibonacci from the bottom, this is an opportunity not to miss this one. This is an opportunity. These are powerful opportunities that you mustn't miss. Once you take this opportunity, you realize that by the time it gets all the way up there, that's a lot of money. Trust me. Even if you're trading a small account, so your first target will be this. You're expecting them to break, right? Then there's this minor supply there, right? Once it comes to this minor supply, you can lock maximum profits. But my overall anticipation right now is here, like this. This is our setup right now. All this is liquidity. Once you go to the 1 hour, you'll see the demand more clearer. The demand zone that I'm talking about. You'll see it much more clearer. You'll see it much more clearer. You'll see it much more clearer on the 1 hour. Let me go to the 1 hour so that you see the demand. And they actually spoke of a retail zone that they are going to take out. They're going to take people out nicely. So this is the zone. This is you see, on 1 hour, it's much more clear. This is the demand here. Like this. So that's why I said once it taps into our region, which is this one, once it taps into that region, we are buying. We start buying. Once it taps into this region, you start buying. So long the market is within that region, right? The reason why I drew it all the way like this is because sometimes they can even come and test the low before they go up. So just to be safe, you put your stop loss below the block, which is below here, like this. So right now, where are your fellow brothers going to be trapped? They actually right now, your fellow retail traders of lesser understanding, they're inside buys right now because of this, because of this institutional, because of this retail zone, which they are calling support, support. Market is on a support. Now we are buying, we are buying, we are buying. And they are busy buying, busy buying. Here, touched the bot, right? They bought, came, they bought, came, they bought. Now they are buying. But this is how they are trapped now. So what they do, they can respect it one, twice, first time, second time, third time. But them doing that, they are gathering all the retail traders here. Once they've gathered them, they know that even by the time they come back again, they will buy hard. Once they buy hard, they are going to be wiped out nicely. Once they are wiped out here, they will think this is a strong support that has been broken. Once a strong support, so their mindset is once a strong support has been broken, we anticipate it means now we are selling. So what they are going to do right now, they're in buys, and notice what is happening. They're in buys, their stop loss is below the block. So they're going to be wiped out. Once they are wiped out, they're going to sell, put their stop loss above. What is going to happen? The market is going to touch the demand, fly, take them out again. So this is how you are trapped each and every single time. Every time. I can if ever we had time, I could show you how every time they are trapping retail traders using the same technique. Same technique every time trapping retail traders. So this is a high probability opportunity. High. This one, even if you can even put pending orders here. Pending orders there at 1.20814. Put pending orders there, buy limits, you put your stop loss below there. Just watch what's going to happen. Watch what's going to happen. So once you have the understanding of the real structure, trend lines are retail concepts that can easily be manipulated, right? Support and resistance is also a retail concept that also is manipulated as well, and it's also used as liquidity. So if you don't have that understanding, I'm not saying stop using trend lines or whatever, but I'm saying use them with understanding, knowing. Once you know the real structure, trend lines, they try to define structure, right? Well, someone can come and draw something like this, say, the market broke, retested. You can say it like that, but that's not really what happened. You can simply say that, but that's not really what happened. In as much as you can say it in that way, but that's not really what happened. That's not really what happened. So trend lines are always going to encounter a lot of hurdles. Once you understand structure as raw as it is, you'll be at a greater advantage more than someone who only knows trend lines. You'll be at a greater advantage more than someone who just knows trend lines. Right now, your brothers are buying hard, so hard they are busy buying. But I want you to see what is going to happen. They are going to be wiped, tap, and they go. So there you can actually put pending buy orders there, pending buy orders. Then you can simply hold this trade all the way. First major target is up there. So this is one of the biggest opportunities that I can say we are having this week, or yeah, for GBP USD. Anyone with a question based on what I've said, based on what I've said, based on what I've said, anyone with a question before we close? Anyone with a question? Is it clear? Is it clear? Talk to me. Talk to me. Is it clear? Is it clear, gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, is it clear? You're quiet now. Yes, it is clear. Yes, it is clear, 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 clear. Wonderful, wonderful. Are we still holding US30 buys? US30 buys, I think we spoke about. It was I can say it's a risk-free trade if you're still in where we entered. It's a risk-free trade, but the confirmation that I now want to see is this 1 hour. They have to change this. Once they change that, at least that's a better confirmation that we're now going up. So long they haven't broken there, they can still play around. You see the number of buy orders again. All right. So US30, once they change this character, that's when we know that any other buys that we're gonna take, there will be buys that will be eventually going. So they can actually, if they manage to go up with this leg and change character maybe around here, you can actually get your buys on this demand. You can actually get your buys on this demand like this. If they succeed to fully go up and change character like here, you can get your buys up there. But yesterday we took buys. Those who logged profits, they managed to log profits, as we said, which was a good thing. Which was a good thing. Even if you didn't log, it actually gave you also room to. It also gave you. Remember Nasdaq. Those who remember Nasdaq, we talked about Nasdaq. There's a Nasdaq video there on YouTube. This same zone, if you notice, they say it's almost a similar zone to GU, whereby they trap, they give you a solid support like that. After they give you a solid support, they come and wipe it out because people were busy buying Nasdaq here. They were all wiped nicely. I saw people in groups saying, "Buy Nasdaq, buy Nasdaq." Buy where? So people of lesser understanding, they like to make the most noise most of the time. So the Nasdaq, I'm actually anticipating some buys tomorrow, which is around here, around that region. So either they can start buying there, because this one they touched that one. So basically, I'm anticipating here for us to get our reversal buys before the major continuation, because I actually did the full breakdown, full breakdown, why I'm anticipating that. So this is my setup on Nasdaq. Anticipating them to come here because they've changed character, which they never did as they were coming up like this. As they were coming up to change this character going up, they never shifted this internal order flow from bullish to bearish. Here, this is where they shifted. So after they shift like that, they'll come collect all forms of liquidity. This is inducement of that zone. That's why I say this is a high probability sell zone for Nasdaq. So tomorrow, Nasdaq, before you jump into the buys, before you just jump in blindly, what you can do is to wait for, if you go to 15-minute or 30-minute, once it's on the zone, to go to 15-minute or 30-minute, once you get a shift, a clean shift of internal order for something like this on the 15-minute, 30-minute, once you get something like this, come back, then you enter there. Once you get that thing here, you can actually enter the buys, hold them all the way up there, then you write the sells from there. So Nasdaq, that's the setup. US30, I told you what we're waiting for. Then last but not least, gold. Gold, it did a very good thing, which is to change character there, right? Which is okay, not an issue. So them changing character there, we can see there's a supply here. We are also anticipating a form of pullback before a major continuation. We're expecting a pullback before a continuation upward. There's a demand they left out down there, which I'm anticipating. So this one can also be a minor target if ever you're selling. You can also use this demand as a minor target as well. Same as this one. Those are minor targets, because if ever there's an ultimate demand below like that, they usually take out all those ones because they will be used as liquidity, then they go up like that. So I'm anticipating something like this, whereby they come down before they push up, right there, right here like this, push up like this, right? So before they push up, they must have sold, they must have dropped, I mean. So right now we have this supply that I can see here. So right now they haven't touched that supply. This is all liquidity, meaning the probability now of them wiping this liquidity before they drop is high. Liquidity wipe, then they drop, they drop, they drop, something like this. Something like this on gold. Something like this is what we are looking forward to on gold. So this liquidity here is what is making this why I'm not really it's not safe to sell here. This is where everyone else is selling. It's not safe to sell there. Where everyone, all the retail traders are selling there because of the resistance. But you wait for them to be wiped out. Once they're wiped out, you start selling from here. So this one, I'll also give you the signal. You'll get the signal there in the free groups. You get the signal. I think also maybe if it moves well around tomorrow, you also get our sell signal on gold. Same thing, Nasdaq. Also waiting for the market to come into our zone. This was a support according to retail traders, and they were all taken out. GBP USD expecting the same thing, expecting people to be wiped out before we go. So I hope I've explained all the four assets. You see what is happening now. They are wiping out people. Right now, people are busy inside. People are inside right now, inside of buys. People are inside right now on buys. And they are being wiped out nicely. Once they are wiped out, they are going to sell. Once they sell, they'll put their stop loss above. They'll be wiped out again. So this one, put your pending orders. This one, put your pending orders, especially this one. Nasdaq, it still has confirmations to wait for, especially on 15-minute and 30-minute. Same thing with gold, still confirmations to wait for on 15-minute as well on 30-minute. US30, I also spoke about that 1 hour change of character that we're waiting for. So this one is so far, I can say this one is the ripe one because confirmations have happened. They wiped out liquidity. There's a zone. Put your pending orders just there. This one, high probability opportunity that even if you want to increase your risk, you can increase it reasonably, obviously, knowing the account size or the account balance that you'll be having. So guys, this is an opportunity that I'm not expecting any one of you to miss. I hope that was clear. We are done. We are done. I don't want to make this long. So the video will be up on YouTube before midnight. To be up there on YouTube. If it's not before midnight, it will be early morning. Go back, rewatch it, but don't miss. Put your pending orders there on 1.20813. 1.20813. Put your pending orders there. Some of us, we might not even sleep before it gets to this one. That's how some of us we are so cautious when it comes to good orders. We normally allow them to pass just like that. So put your pending orders there, 1.20813, stop loss below there. Then give it room to breathe and just watch and see what will happen. So that's one of our best setups for this week. GBP USD buy. So guys, I hope you helped. You find the video